I'm free. Fire burns. I rear cattle. Let us go home. The fire is out. The fire went out. Hum baby to sleep. We sat over a fire. Do you know kabuki? Let us sing a song. How is your family? Do you like singing? I'll drive you home. Let's sing and dance. I have peace at home. I mortgaged my house. I will take you home. My house was on fire. There is an abundance. I do not like science. You seem to like fruit. My family are all well. Shall I drive you home? Keep away from the fire. Stay away from the fire. Fruits decay in the sun. Do this at your leisure. We are a family of 4. The furniture was dusty. The house was in flames. A horse passed my house. Fire is always dangerous. The rent is due tomorrow. Their cattle are all fat. We're practically family. Would you like some fruit? Won't you have some fruit? Fruits have seeds in them. Fruits tend to rot quickly. You may go at your leisure. Chemistry gave us plastics. All my family is very well. I'd like to call my family. Both buildings burned down. The fire went out by itself. The fire burned up brightly. I warmed myself at the fire. Singing is her strong point. I wish I were a good singer. There is no place like home. Are you happy in your house? The cattle starved to death. May I bring my family along? May I ask about your family? It's great to have a family. All was silent in the house. She knew a lot of songs, too. Science builds our lifestyle. Sleep and wait for good luck. How much is the monthly rate? We are not cold in the house. The fire was burning brightly. It only adds fuel to the fire. Be on your guard against fire. The fire is burning furiously. Kabuki is an old Japanese art. His whole family is like that. I'm getting a new house built. A fence runs around the house. There is no smoke without fire. He makes his living by singing. Few flowers develop into fruit. Read this book at your leisure. Science rests upon observation. How much is the rent per month? The whole house was ill in bed. Could you please drive me home? The fire started in the kitchen. Oxygen is needed for combustion. The fruits are dried in the sun. My wife is partial to apple pie. Guard against the danger of fire. What do you do in your free time? Advance in science is continuous. Science produced the atomic bomb. May you and your family be happy. The house burned down completely. Let me show you around our house. I had to help with the housework. There is a fence about the house. Please help yourself to the fruit. I am determined to be a scientist. My family will be away for a week. I want you to refurbish the house. Every door in the house is locked. There wasn't anybody in the house. I made my whole family leave home. Warm yourself while the fire burns. Everything comes to those who wait. Please help yourself to some fruit. The house was burned to the ground. Please keep the fire from going out. Being free, she went out for a walk. The whole family got out of the car. The houses stand near to each other. The fire spread throughout the house. I burned my forefinger on fire tongs. The boy singing a song is my brother. Don't you have anything better to do? Science has made remarkable progress. My wife will be glad to see you, too. You're a month behind with your rent. The whole family set off on the trip. We'll borrow some money on the house. The house collapsed in an earthquake. My son can count up to 100 now. Come and see me whenever you are free. Technology has given us immense power. My wife is preparing dinner right now. It's dangerous to play around the fire. The best swimmers are oftenest drowned. If you are free, come around to see me. As soon as I left home, I ran into her. The crowd cheered the singer's entrance. I prefer apples to all the other fruits. Scientists seem to have known the truth. A revolution has occurred in technology. Science is based on careful observation. I'm sick of listening to her complaints. The dog had the run of the entire house. The family is the basic unit of society. He was happy in the bosom of his family. All the furniture was covered with dust. The weather was lovely when I left home. There is a garden in front of the house. No one can deny the fact that fire burns. Let's play some video games to kill time. A family is the smallest unit of society. The family were all out reaping the corn. Please give my best to the entire family. Some furniture is put together with glue. As soon as I left home, it began to rain. It is no inconvenience to drive you home. The houses caught fire one after another. A fire can spread faster than you can run. The rivers were flooded by the heavy rain. I strolled along the streets to kill time. A canal flowed between two rows of houses. He has to work hard to support his family. I feel homesick when I remember my family. The houses looked like so many matchboxes. I was leaving home when Tom telephoned me. As I left the house, I remembered the key. It took them 2 years to build the house. The telephone was ringing when I got home. My backyard can hold more than 10 people. The homeless sought shelter from a shower. I spent the holidays decorating the house. There is a garden at the back of my house. The more leisure he has, the happier he is. Technology has differentiated our cultures. My tutor scolded me for my stupid behavior. You can't have lost your coat in the house. The fire has gone out and this room is cold. In science class, we drew pictures of cells. On my way home, I came across an old friend. Scientists deal mainly with physical matters. Scientists regard the discovery as important. May I take a few days off to visit my family? I had hardly left home when it began raining. There are scarcely any flowers in our garden. The fire is going out. Will you add some wood? This theory was founded on a scientific basis. Science is based on very careful observations. The fronts of the houses were hung with flags. The basin of a river usually has rich farmland. A bad cold caused the singer to lose his voice. Home life was being screened from foreign eyes. Everyone called out to the singer for an encore. As we were singing songs, we climbed to the top. It is not good for a scientist to get emotional. Science has made rapid progress in this century. Science does not solve all the problems of life. Science has not solved all the problems of life. I got him to help me when I moved the furniture. There are a great many people trying buy houses. The fire spread and licked the neighboring house. A poor singer, he doesn't like to sing in public. Scientific truth is a creation of the human mind. A great revolution has taken place in technology. Science can be dangerous when applied carelessly. You'll find domestic articles on the third floor. Supporting his family was a great burden for him. The family is the most important unit in society. Lots of women both run a home and go out to work. There are a lot of people who try to buy a house. A number of cars are parked in front of my house. Scientists are working hard to put an end to AIDS. Advances in science don't always benefit humanity. Each house is within shouting distance of another. In kabuki, not only talent but also heredity counts. Science is the way to prepare for the 21st century. Progress in science was often barred by convention. Unable to pay the rent, I asked him for assistance. It was not until I got home that I missed my watch. Let's take a rest in the garden instead of indoors. As singers go, she is among the best in the country. Scientists began to find answers to these questions. Science has brought about many changes to our lives. Science has brought about many changes in our lives. My wife often rings me up while she travels abroad. The landlord won't permit him to paint the door red. The household was already awake at 6 in the morning. As he had no way of making fire, he ate the fish raw. Family members should not compete against each other. I've always wanted to go to Australia with my family. More and more married couples share household chores. I had hardly left home when it began to rain heavily. Are we to remove our shoes before entering the house? The house looked good, moreover, the price was right. Her cheeks were tinged with red by the warmth of fire. As science makes progress, old ways give place to new. The members of the family nursed the patient by turns. It's easier for me to have a job than to do housework. She regretted deeply when she looked back on her life. The scientist insisted on proceeding with the research. Some people argue that technology has negative effects. The primary aim of science is to find truth, new truth. My wife's part-time job brings in a little extra money. Our rent is 4 times as much as it was 10 years ago. If it were not for my family, I would give up this job. We have 2 cats, one is white and the other is black. I had a hand in the family deciding to move to New York. As soon as I left home, I came across her in the street. A house is built on top of a solid foundation of cement. The basements of the houses are likely to have problems. As soon as he got home, he began to play a computer game. His whole family is like that. They're like peas in a pod. The family assimilated quickly into their new environment. I had no sooner left the house than it began to rain hard. The fire burned brightly, giving forth a comforting warmth. The mere idea of swimming across the river made me tremble. Scientists can easily compute the distance between planets. Scientists say many factors bring about changes in weather. Science is far more than a collection of facts and methods. A lot of problems derive from a lack of reading in the home. Don't forget to turn off the gas before you leave the house. Before you leave home, make sure your pets have enough food. No one can deny the fact that there is no smoke without fire. Fruit trees require a large amount of space in which to grow. Scientists are fighting to stem the spread of the AIDS virus. Technology is in itself meaningless unless it serves mankind. We tend to use more and more electric appliances in the home. I think the only problem I have now is being shut in at home. There was a traffic accident in front of the house yesterday. Fanned by the strong wind, the flames spread in all directions. Making use of fire may be regarded as man's greatest invention. Immediately after it caught fire, the chemical factory blew up. The landlord told him to leave because he hadn't paid his rent. You'll have to attend the ceremony whether you are free or busy. If science makes progress, we'll be able to solve such problems. The fire had spread to the next building before the firemen came. Scientific knowledge has greatly advanced since the 16th century. Scientific discoveries don't always make the world a better place. Technology has failed to ease the conflict between man and nature. I don't think that technology provides us with everything we need. Science and art must contribute to the promotion of human welfare. Science as such is not interested in the value or worth of things. The spirit of patriotism has its source in the love of the family. Regarding the matter of house rent, I have come to terms with him. We have made numerous improvements to our house since we bought it. The girl who I thought was a singer proved to be a different person. The progress of science has brought about great change in our lives. It made my Mother's Day when all the family gathered and had a party. To make our house payments, we're going to have to tighten our belts. They have time to spend with their families or to enjoy their hobbies. Scientists have come up with many explanations for why the sky is blue. The house did not suffer much damage because the fire was quickly put out. According to scientists, the atmosphere is getting warmer year after year. The singers sang together in order to raise money to help people with AIDS. The aim of science is, as has often been said, to foresee, not to understand. The scientist maintained that the theory should be tested through experiments. Scientists will come up with new methods of increasing the world's food supply. I had to do all the housework, but I wish I had gone to the movies or shopping. Having finished all her housework, she sat down on the sofa to watch television. My uncle's brother's son got involved in a shady business and disgraced the family. Some scientists predict that the world oil reserves will be used up within a century. When we have a family argument, my husband always sides with his mother instead of me. As scientists keep insisting, there is neither good nor bad in any scientific discovery. The landlord told me a cock and bull story about why we didn't have heat for 3 days. Scientists have been discovering new drugs, so there is always hope for someone in a coma. Reading science fiction sometimes does much to encourage a scientific view of the universe. After tying up loose ends on the house, the carpenter gave the painter approval to begin work. Scientific research is not a mechanical routine, but a continuing struggle on the part of the scientist. When science was less important than it is now, it was all very well to leave science to the scientists.